A great sign appeared in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown with 12 stars. Because she was with child, she wailed aloud in pain as she labored to give birth. With these lines begin chapter 12 of the book of Revelation, also known as the Apocalypse, which documents the end times and is the last book of the Bible. The Catholic Church has since interpreted these lines to refer to Mary, in whose womb the crucial union of God and man was consummated. And yet she, who is oftentimes referred to as the Mother of Unity, has throughout the centuries also become a sign of controversy among Christians who believe that her fiat ensured her status in the plan of salvation. It is precisely upon that status that much of the controversy focuses, and in the year 431, the proclamation of the dogma by the Council of Ephesus on the union of Christ's human and divine natures also established the doctrine of Mary as Theotokos, Mother of God. For to deny her right to that title was to deny the divinity of Christ. However, even before this, it is a historical fact and fully authenticated that the mystery of the Virgin who was to bring forth a son was known among the pagans. This belief existed among the Chaldeans, the Persians, the Latins, Egyptians, and Gauls. In fact, within the sacred groves of the Druids, the first sanctuary dedicated to the Virgin who was to bring forth a son was established, and a prophetic statue raised 100 years before her birth. It is said that when the early evangelists came to that area of what is now known as France, they capitalized on that belief by explaining that the Virgin had come and born a son named Jesus, and thus were able to effect the rapid conversion of the local inhabitants, whose ancestors had consecrated themselves to her. And throughout the ages, devotion to the Virgin Mother continued without interruption. For in that exact spot, the magnificent Gothic cathedral known as Notre Dame de Chartres was erected. One of the earliest Christian sanctuaries is said to be the one that St. Peter established in Phoenicia on his way to Antioch, known as Our Lady of Tortosa. And records exist that indicates Mary's impact on early Christian life and the profound esteem accorded her by the disciples of Christ. The walls of the Christian catacombs are scattered with frescoes painted in the first 3 centuries depicting the Virgin holding the child Jesus in her arms. One of the earliest, which dates back almost to the time of the apostles, is found in the cemetery of St. Priscilla, and the figure of the Virgin is crowned by a star whose rays bathe her forehead in light. This is one of the first representations of the Madonna and Child. The list of saints who had a deep devotion to Mary reads like a veritable who's who of Catholics' history. The gentle founder of the Franciscan order, St. Francis of Assisi, chose her as his advocate and declared that she personified those particular virtues which had brought inspiration to his own life, and named chapels, churches, and hermitages after her. And many, like that great warrior of the church, St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Society of Jesus, were converted because of a vision of the Blessed Virgin. Great learned men and women who were respected and esteemed by their peers were but little children before Mary, as Francis Xavier, the great apostle of the Indies, was. For as he lay dying, the last words he murmured over and over again were, "Show thyself a mother." Christianity is not the only faith to hold Mary in such high esteem. In the Quran, there are references to Maryam, who is revered as the most perfect of all women, who was so chosen and purified by God that her soul was the only one not seized by Satan at birth. And according to Peter Lapin, who has written a history of devotion to Mary, the Quran defends Mary's reputation in the strongest terms and insists that one of the main reasons for the reprobation of the Jews is their attitude toward her. And even today, the Muslims continue to flock to her shrines. In fact, the Dome of the Rock, the sacred spot from which Muslims believe that Muhammad ascended into heaven, bears the inscription, "Into her who has preserved her virginity, we will breathe our spirit." Interestingly enough, Muhammad's beloved daughter, who was honored and held up as an example for all Muslim women, was named Fatima. And the greatest compliment the Muslims pay Mary is when they call their beloved Fatima the greatest woman in the world after the Virgin Mary. Was it just coincidental then that almost 1,600 years later, one of the greatest of all approved Marian apparitions would occur in the little Portuguese village of Fatima? In fact, many of the Marian shrines, great and small, dotting the continent of Europe today, were erected because of some form of manifestation of the Blessed Virgin, an apparition, a healing, and so on. The modern world has since dismissed much of this as mere legend, but in the light of today's occurrences, one wonders if this is so. For as we approach the end of the 20th century, some 2,000 years after the birth of Christ, reports abound in all continents of the world of what seem to be supernatural appearances of a strikingly beautiful young woman bathed in light, exhorting all of humankind to prayer and a return to the ways of God, and warning of the dire consequences of man's evil ways. Enraged at her escape, the dragon went off to make war on her offspring, on those who keep God's commandments and give witness to Jesus. He took up his position by the shore of the sea. End of chapter 12, Book of Revelations. Welcome to the woman clothed